Hey guys, and welcome to another video. Today, I'm going to be talking about all the TV shows that were canceled way too soon, and there are quite a few of them. I don't know what the deal is. A lot of these shows are great, but for some reason they don't get renewed, or they get renewed and then they backtrack and cancel it. But I'm going to be talking about those shows and my opinions on them, and these are a lot of my favorite shows, so I'm really excited about this video, so let's go ahead and get started. So first we have Freaks and Geeks, and this is an older show. I believe it was 1999 or something like that, but this is one that wasn't quite as popular when it first came out, but after it got canceled, its popularity blew off. It kind of blew up. And this show is basically essentially, it kickstarted a lot of very famous people's careers. You have Seth Rogen, you have James Franco, Linda Cardellini, and that one guy from Dodgeball whose name I can never remember, but all of their careers basically took off after this. Linda Cardellini, love her, absolutely love her, because right after this she did Scooby-Doo, and she's insanely talented. Guaranteed Seth Rogen and James Franco aren't really in the greatest of places, if you know what I mean, but this is definitely one that a lot of people wish, specifically me, I wish that they had continued. I would have loved to see where the show would have gone had it had another season. That would have been very interesting, but unfortunately it did get canceled, so that is definitely one that was canceled way too soon. It was a very funny show, and I don't know, I feel like they could have done a lot if they had continued with it. So the next one we have is Fate the Winx Saga, and this is a very recent one. I don't understand why this got canceled. I feel like it had a pretty decent following. A lot of people watched it, a lot of people liked it. Guaranteed it wasn't exactly like the original Winx animated series, but it was really cool getting to see this basically live action. It wasn't basically, it was live action, but it was really cool to get to see that interpretation of it. And I feel like, I don't know, they left us on such a cliffhanger with season 2 that, I don't know, it just really irritated me. And I don't know, I hate when they get canceled on cliffhangers. That's my biggest, pet peeve, because I want to know what happens so bad. And I don't know, I really did enjoy the show. I loved the actors who were in it. I love the girl who plays Bloom. She's absolutely gorgeous, Abigail Cohen, but I don't know, it was not meant to be. So next is Deadly Class, and this was a show that aired on Sci-Fi, and it's about a boy, and he gets basically recruited into this high school for assassins. And something I thought was really interesting about this was you have Lana Condor, and this is right after her success with To All the Boys I Loved Before, so you're getting to see her in a whole new light. So she plays this badass assassin who's super strong and tough, and I feel like that's just such a difference from her very meek and sweet character from To All the Boys I Loved Before. So you really got to see her, how versatile she is, and I thought that was interesting. And it also has the guy, Wong, I can't remember, I think it's Benedict Wong, the guy from, what's it called, Doctor Strange. He plays the headmaster, so it's really cool to see him. And I think just the casting and everything, the writing, the effects were insane. It was super cool because you had all these different, it kind of took you into these different realities, and I thought it was really cool. But unfortunately it did not get picked up for a second season, which I thought was interesting because the executive producers were actually the Russo brothers who directed multiple of the Avengers movies. So I thought it was really interesting that it did not get picked up for a second season. Plus it was a really good show. So that's another one that really I wish would have gotten another season. I would have loved to see what they did with it. Okay, so the next one we have, it came out in 2011, lasted for a season, only had 10 episodes, I believe, and didn't get renewed. And I've been angry since 2011 because I was obsessed with that show, and that is the 9 Lives of Chloe King. And this was the one where she's got the cat powers, and it's really cool, and she has 9 lives. And basically she's trying to save the, my race is what they were called, I believe. But also the love interests were very attractive, so I definitely was into that as a younger me. But this is another one that ended on a cliffhanger. And it wasn't even a little cliffhanger. It was a huge, very important cliffhanger. And we never got to see it through. This show was loved so much that people literally created a petition to bring it back, and they were going to bring it back and do a little movie to tie things up, and they actually never went through with that. and released the script, so you were able to read the script. I read it. It was great. They should have made the movie, but no. I don't know what goes through the director's minds when they're canceling shows. And I feel like ABC Family was notorious for canceling great shows. And I don't know. It's just, this show should have gotten another season, or at least should have had the movie done to wrap it up, because Skylar Samuels did an incredible job in this role. Every actor who was involved did such an incredible job. The acting was great. The script was great. The film was great. And it's just, I swear, all the good shows get canceled for all these mediocre shows. And this is one. And here is another one that ABC Family did me dirty with. And that is Jane by Design. And this is about a girl, she's in high school, but she pretends to be an adult to get into the fashion industry. And I loved the concept. And I love all of the actors, and it were so great. And it has Margaret Qualley's mother in it. I can't remember her name right off the bat, but she is incredible in it, playing the boss. She plays kind of like a hard ass, and I just love it. And this one, I'm still mad about it, because once again, ends on a cliffhanger, you know, and I just never got to see what happened with it. And this is another show, I feel like ABC Family had such incredible shows that got canceled before you could really flesh them out. I remember Jane by Design did not have a lot of episodes. Like, I don't know, I guess back then it was when all the shows, you typically had a season with 22 episodes, 20 to 24 episodes. And that was the like, how they did it. And now you have all these short form shows that are an hour long, 10 episodes. So I feel like a lot of these would have done better now had they made it than back then, just because the format was different. But Jane by Design definitely is one where ABC Family did me dirty. I mean, I loved it. I would have loved to see what they could have done with it. Also, I feel like Jane by Design, I was very young when this came out. I believe I was like 11 or 12. And it's hard to find shows when you're in that age that aren't super childish or aren't super explicit. And that was one of those shows. Like, obviously you did have kind of those more mature themes with like sex and like drama, but it wasn't overtly there like Euphoria. It was very like subdued, and it felt like teenagers being teenagers, but obviously she was trying to be an adult. But I really enjoyed the show, and I was devastated when the show got canceled. I was absolutely crushed because I loved it so much. Then we have a Netflix show, and this is Spinning Out. And this is Kai Scuderia, and she plays the figure skater. She comes back into it to do pairs because she was a solo performer and then had an injury and then just never came back. But then she gets this opportunity to come back and do pairs, and there's obviously, you know, some conflict with her partner because, you know, they had a little something going on. And so you have all of that tension, and there's just obviously there's lies that they're trying to come back from, and I don't know, I really like this show. January Jones was such an incredible part of it. She really played the like mother with all these issues, and it has the girl who played Primrose Everdeen. I think the casting was incredible, and just the acting, it was just very good acting. I loved the plot. And I don't know why Netflix does this, but they cancel all of their really good shows. Like, I mean, obviously we have Stranger Things and they haven't canceled that, but that, you could never cancel that. But all their good shows get canceled for all of these very, like, mediocre, average shows that aren't very good. And then they cancel incredible ones like this. And it really irritates me. Because Spinning Out also left, once again, it leaves on a little bit of a cliffhanger. So, I don't know. I feel like they were just adding everything up. And then it just, and so we never got to see how it ended, and that's really frustrating. But I definitely think this one should have at least gotten a second season to like wrap it up. I swear this is basically just like all the times ABC Family and Netflix have done me dirty, and because this is another ABC Family one, and that is Bunheads, which was led by the incredible Sutton Foster, and it has the grandmother from Gilmore Girls, and it's Amy Sherman Palladino. So obviously the people you had on, it was bound to be a great show, and it was a great show, but they canceled it after, I believe, I don't know if it was 2 seasons or if it was like a season, that got extended. I can't really remember because it's been like 10 years. But I really enjoyed this show. Once again, it's another one of those where I was younger, but the themes were there, those mature themes, but they weren't overly explicit. So it was something I could actually watch, which I really loved. Because obviously when it came out, I was in that age where you're like kind of in the middle of like teen shows and kid shows. So I really enjoyed Bunheads for that reason. I just thought all of the plot lines were just very interesting. It reminded me a lot of Gilmore Girls, which, I mean, obviously it's Amy Sherman Palladino, but I loved watching all of the dancing because it was about ballerinas, and it was just such an incredible show that ended way too soon. And I would have loved to see these characters really get fleshed out more, because obviously it was dealing with teenagers, and it was dealing with like teenager issues with like boys, body image, and everything. And I just thought it was such an incredible show, and I wish they would have continued on with it. And I mean, I feel like it was a popular show, but I think too, this was another one of those shows that came out like 10 p.m. So obviously it was not in the greatest slot. And I feel like a lot of shows that were less appropriate got put before it. So I feel like they could have switched it up a little bit, and that would have helped, because I feel like a lot of the time shows don't last due to the time slot they're put in, and I feel like this was one of those. So next we have Firefly with Gideon Flynn, and this is one... It was bound to be canceled due to the way that it was aired. I mean, the company that aired it, I can't remember if it was CBS, Fox, or whatever, but they completely screwed it up. They aired the episodes out of order. So, like, you had no clue what was going on. And, I mean, they did eventually come back and do the movie to wrap things up, and it was just such an incredible series. It could have continued on, but, you know, it was just doomed from the start, and the acting was so good. All of the people in it. You have Gina Torres. You have that really funny guy who was also in Suburgatory. I can't remember his name off the bat, but he's one of my favorites. Alan Tudyk is in it as well. And I think it was just great casting, great acting, great script. Obviously, it was like back in the day, so the technology for all of the effects wasn't as advanced, but I still thought it was pretty good for the time it came out. Obviously, if it had been aired the way it should have been, it would have been great. It would have been successful, I feel like. But nope, it was doomed from the start. So then we have another iconic TV show, and this comes from the CW, and that is The Carrie Diaries, and this one lasted for 2 seasons. Once again, I remember it ended on some sort of a cliffhanger, and I just loved watching this. Anna Sophia Robb is incredible, and I think getting to watch the young Carrie Bradshaw was really cool, because obviously I was too young when this came out to watch the actual Sex and the City, and now that I have seen some bits of the Sex and the City show, I think The Carrie Diaries is way better. And I don't know, it's just all the outfits and all the hair, oh, it's just so much fun to watch. And I really feel like this is such a beloved show, and it could have gone on for at least another season to wrap things up, but this is one that everyone still misses, and I see TikToks of it, so clearly it is a missed show. Next is another Netflix one, and that is Glow, which was the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. Once again, you have a stacked cast, great writing, great acting, and unfortunately, I feel like the creators just kind of gave up towards the end, and I see this with a lot of shows that come out. They just kind of fizzle out, because I feel like they're just starting to oversaturate with all of their original programs, and I feel like this one just got shoved to the side to make room for all of those. But I felt like it was such a good show. Though they had it set up for another season, but unfortunately it did not get renewed, and this is just another one that I'm really sad about, because I really enjoyed it. Also, the costuming was so cool. It was just such a great show to watch, and it was funny, it had drama, and I just felt like it hit all the points that you need to in a show. But fortunately, it was canceled, so we didn't get to see a season 4, but would have loved to have seen it. And once again, we have another ABC Family show that did us all wrong, and that's The Lying Game. And actually, this is based on a book series by Sarah Shepard, who, if you don't know who that is, she wrote the Pretty Little Liars books, and I actually liked this TV show better than Pretty Little Liars. But unfortunately, it got canceled once again on a cliffhanger. I feel like everything always gets canceled on a cliffhanger, and it because they think they're gonna get renewed, and then they're like, nope, you're canceled. So unfortunately, we didn't get to see what happens. There's a lot of answers. I mean, I could read the books, but obviously they changed so many things from the books to the TV show, so it might not even be accurate. But if I ever do feel like it, I'll read the book series. I think there's like 10 books in the series, and it's a YA, so it's a little bit quicker, but I definitely loved this one. It had Tyler Blackburn in it, who I believe was from Switched Up Birth first, and then came on to The Lion Game, and was kind of like supposed to be like the Heart Farby kind of guy, but obviously you have murder, and you have all this mystery, and it also has the girl from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I can't remember her name at the moment, but she plays the mom, and I don't know, it was just, once again, ABC Family, why do you do this to me? I mean, obviously it's Freeform now, and it's even horrible worse, but you know, they did me dirty on so many different occasions. So the last show is Shadow and Bone, and I feel like this one, it was based off a very popular YA book series, and I feel like the show itself was very popular. I don't understand why Netflix decided to cancel it. I feel like there weren't a lot of answers, personally. I mean, it had the popularity, it had the following, it was very good. I really enjoyed it. Guaranteed it was different from the book series. They did veer off at some point and just kind of went on their own thing, but which might have had something to do with it, but I definitely very much enjoyed it. Ben Barnes, once again, another incredible actor. I feel like everybody just did so well in their roles, and it was just a very cohesive show. And obviously the fantasy aspect, I loved it. Like, you know, it's very hard to find, I feel like, unless you're like looking at Game of Thrones. Even then, that's not incredible by any means, but YA fantasy TV shows are hard to come by, and if you find them, sometimes they're really cheesy and just boring. This one wasn't. I really enjoyed it, and I wish so much that they didn't end it on a cliffhanger, which I feel like that's a common theme in this video, but it ended on a cliffhanger, and I would have loved to see what they did with it in another season, but unfortunately we didn't get that opportunity. So those are all of the TV shows that unfortunately ended way too soon and could have had, you know, an incredible run had the executive producers and all the people making the decisions had let it. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see the endings to a lot of them due to cliffhangers, but that's just my opinions. Comment below if you remember any of these shows. I feel like even though I was young, I watched a lot of stuff that were meant for older people, but definitely comment down below if you miss any of these shows, and don't forget to like this video if you want to see more stuff like this, and also subscribe for more content. I'm definitely posting a lot more now, but until next time, see you guys!